Hey guys, Luca Reborn here. I'm on to my Cleric character video, just talking about the feats. This one might be my longest one because some of her group buffs um, don't work properly with empowers. Like one or two of them don't, and it's really hard to understand unless you've done some testing. This character always starts with 3 points in armor proficiency, so you can wear plate armor, like the strongest armor in the game right from the beginning. Like again, like I said in other videos, unless you're playing a ranged, you can play a ranged cleric if you want to. So go accuracy if you do. Bless is one of her first, is one of her group buffs. This one, the +5 to hit and +5 to damage, that does not get affected by empower at all. You can craft another. I think it's because you can craft another 5 feat points onto gear for a total of 10 to bless for +10 to hit and +10 to damage. The duration does increase. So bless's duration goes all the way up to 92 seconds from 45 seconds. So 1 minute 32 seconds. This will last at. And another reason why I think empower didn't affect it is because the plus to damage is affected by the quality of the weapons that you guys are using. So if you're using a flawless weapon and you have +10 to damage from 10 feat points and bless, then that 10 damage converts into 40 damage. Flawless weapons have a ×4 multiplier to all flat damage that has a plus next to its number. So +10 times 4 is 40. So the cleric can give you up to 40 minimum and maximum flat damage to your weapon attacks. It does not affect ranged or throwing attacks. Bless will not give you that damage bonus. I really wish it did. It just doesn't. It will get. It won't. It will increase. It will show, especially with the throwing weapon. It'll show that your damage increased on the stats page over here. It'll even show that your base attack increased, but it didn't actually affect. Um, it didn't affect it at all. So it should say for melee attacks only, but it doesn't. So just remember, Bless works on melee attacks only, not ranged. Clarity, obviously, who doesn't want reduction in casting cost? Cure Wounds seems really crappy, but until you hit endgame level 40 and you equip Constitution gear, you're not going to have a huge health pool. So Cure Wounds does get affected by Bless. It goes up to, it heals about 72, 73 hit points, which is a pretty good chunk of the 355 I have right now. It's the best spell to use to heal yourself and allies. There's a slight cooldown, like maybe a 1.5 second cooldown between uses. But if you don't want to spend money on health potions, then Cure Wounds is the way to go. Divine Resilience is endgame health regeneration. This is where Empower really screwed it up. Unempowered Divine Resilience at 5 feat points lasts 25 seconds, but it has a 45-second cooldown. And it just boosts what your Great Fortitude does. So without Divine Resilience active, Great Fortitude at 5 feat points regens about 50 health every 10 seconds. I think that's the timer I used. Oh no, I did. It regens 50 health every 25 seconds. If you activate 5 feat points in Divine Resilience, unempowered, it increases it to 85 health every 25 seconds. That seems really bad, but it's all dependent on your health regen. Health regen is dependent on your level and your constitution score. And as you can tell, I'm still 15 shy of max level, and my constitution is literally as low as it can go for the cleric. So this can get really powerful when you get 70, 80 constitution and you're level 40. And if you craft 5 more feat points of Great Fortitude onto your gear and you have rank 10, then your health regen starts to skyrocket. You can probably health regen 200 to 250 within 25 seconds, which still doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when you have 1 or 2,000 hit points. And so if you have 1 or 2,000 hit points, Cure Wounds at 72 hit points a cast, that's pitiful. Even health potions don't even health potions, you'd have to use like 20 health potions just to fully heal your 2,000 hit points back. When empowered, Divine Resilience will increase to like it'll you'll get like it's like a 70% increase to health regen to your Great Fortitude with Empowered Divine Resilience. It probably shoots up to about 2.4 if you have 10 points in Great Fortitude. But what really sucks is the cooldown goes from 45 seconds to 67 seconds. I think they screwed the coding up. I think they wanted the cooldown to get less, not increase. So just remember, if you have Empower maxed out, your Divine Resilience now has a longer cooldown, but lasts the same amount of time. And right here it says 25 seconds. If you go to the game, Divine Resilience, it says it lasts for 36 seconds. It does not last for 36 seconds. That's the other screw up that Divine Resilience has with Empower. It still lasts 25 seconds, even though it's supposed to go up to 36 seconds. So I think that's just a coding error on the developer's part with this skill. This does affect everyone. It affects you and your ally. Bless affects you and your ally. Cure Wounds does. Divine Resilience does. Divine Strength does. Any buff that the cleric does affects you and the ally and pets. It can affect the necro pet. It can affect the cleric's pet. But with all those buffs, the pets are still terrible. So don't try to make a pet build because it's terrible. Divine Strength does get affected by Empower. Um, Divine Strength lasts 97 seconds when empowered. And it will give you, it's supposed to give you, 45% of 10 is 4.5. So 14.5 rounded down to 14. But it only gives you, where is it? Right here, 13. So you only get a max of 13 strength from an empowered divine strength. So just remember that when you're min-maxing your character, especially with the cleric. Like my cleric, you get 10 stat points to put in throughout leveling up to 40 to put into your stats. I was gonna put all 10 in the strength, but if I did that, I would end up if I use divine strength, I will end up right now I have 91. I got 4 more stat points that I can unlock. I would have 95 strength. Well, that 95th point doesn't do anything because you only get one hit, one damage for every 2 points, so every even number. So instead of putting that last stat point into strength, I'm gonna put it into constitution because every time you put a point into constitution, you get faster HP regen, even if it ends up on an odd number. So 11, 13, 15, you'll still get that faster HP regen portion. It's not like game breaking, but at least that extra point won't get wasted. I'm not going to put it in dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. I don't need any of that, so I might as well just throw it in a constitution. Increase that health regen. Dodge, take it if you want. It's an extra 25 AC, not the greatest thing in the world unless you're building a huge AC tank. AC does work in the remastered version, but it's not as much. It's not great enough to focus on armor, so it's still not a great talent. Empower, amazing. Endurance, whatever. Flame Strike is absolute garbage. Great Fortitude if you want that health regen. Pick the weapon focus you're using. I'm using 2 one-handers, so I went hand weapon focus. Those are always great. Adds hit rating and flat damage. The flat damage on this gets multiplied by the quality of your weapon, so I get 12 extra flat damage, not 3, or not 12. My Imperial Maces is a 3.5 multiplier, so I get 10.5. And any feat is rounded up, so it's giving me anywhere between 10 to 11. We'll say 10 or 11. Max of 12 though. Iron Will, great. Like I said, pick the weapon focus for whatever type of weapon you're using. Protective Ward. This is great if you're focusing on armor class because it lasts for 101 seconds and it gives you a 29 armor when empowered. Purity is amazing, but the timer doesn't increase. So here's Purity right here. It says 94 seconds. It only lasts 65 seconds when empowered. So this is another spell that the Empower feat failed to properly address or properly apply to. The coding got screwed up. So don't if it says it's lasting for 94 seconds and you notice it going down a lot sooner than that, it's because it doesn't. And it lasts 65 seconds. And it doesn't state it here, but it says resist some status effects at higher ranks. You start becoming immune to curses and other things. Like there's three different things. I forgot to look them up for this video, but you basically immune to almost any status effect in the game with purity maxed out like this. It's crazy good spell to use. Sanctuary crap, spiritual weapon absolute crap. Sprint is always good. Toughness if you want it. I'm doing dual wielding cleric, so I brought this 2 weapon fighting up. Turn undead crap, willpower if you want to. What's the misnomer about 2 weapon fighting is when you dual wield, you're doing 80% of the damage on your main hand and 20% of the damage on your offhand. Uh, I always thought that was weird how they did it, but when it's added up, you're basically taking a one-hander weapon and it's splitting the damage between two weapons. So 80 and 20. So you're just taking that one-hander weapon and the damage is just split. With 2 weapon fighting, it starts so you start off at 100% of that one-hander damage split. With 2 weapon fighting, it basically doubles that. So 130 and 70 is 200% split. So now it's basically like you're actually using two one-hander weapons in each hand at full damage. They just offset the damage to the main hand having more damage than the offhand. Don't know why, but overall, the when you add up the flat damage from both hands, that's the amount of damage you would be doing if you had a one-handed mace that was effective at 200% damage, or it was where its damage is actually doubled if you only had it in one hand. So if I take one off, we'll just take this off. That 210 becomes 420 if when I dual wield, basically. So if I put this back on, hopefully it's actually more because of the multipliers on the weapons. So you're actually getting more than 420. So it's because of the quality of the weapons changing the multiplier. And that's the cleric in a nutshell. It's a as you can see the cleric doesn't get attack speed or improved critical or anything. Those do unlock later, so don't worry about it. The cleric starts off as a major support character, but then can become a super badass, brutal fighter. Two-hander or dual wield. You can use a bow if you want to. Just anything. You can build a cleric any way you want. So if you guys got any questions about this, just let me know. This is the cleric.